Mel,
Brandon,
great to see you.
I'm glad to see you.
It was just yesterday, but still good to see you.
It was yesterday. It was 24 hours or more, about 28 hours.
So,
and why did we see each other yesterday? Please refresh me.
The first and third Tuesday of every month is the city commission meeting.
Of course, the highlights of my life. I'm with you. Yeah.
So, Mel and I had the pleasure of attending and being in attendance.
And pleasure. I mean, we're blessed with the.
Blessed or cursed?
Blessed or cursed?
Yeah, I think it's a blessing that we're so indulged in this shit.
Hey, we know we can make a difference. We're not like the rest of these people.
So we go to the commission meeting. I actually went mostly. The agenda didn't look too hot topic to me, but I went because of I wanted to see how they handled the mask situation.
What I thought was the drive of the meeting was the mask deal.
And so we show up. I get there literally right on time, a minute before, and I walk in and everybody's got masks on. And I say everybody. Mostly everybody, all the city employees and all the city commissioners, excluding Canyon Ginger. And so, I was like, maybe I missed the memo. Maybe masks are required now at these things. But I was intrigued because I wanted to know what the hell was going on, seeing how Sedgwick County, as a county, much like County County, they said, we ain't going to enforce this crap. But then the city of Wichita and the city of Winfield backed up and said, no, masks are required. And so I wanted to see if Ark City would bring it as a topic, and Mel, they didn't, did they?
No,
and
wasn't even brought up.
Wasn't brought up, wasn't discussed, it wasn't, and for that I'm so grateful for. I appreciate you guys using common sense. Appreciate you doing
Tom
the right
Langford,
thing.
appreciate him.
Yeah. So anyhow, well played, good job on that. But
sorry for the fear of Winfield.
Yeah, and hey, good news for Ark City. It's going to drive people to Ark City for
absolutely.
shopping,
Absolutely.
for restaurants, for a number of different things.
And it gives me absolutely no reason whatsoever to go to Winfield. But I'm going to the Republican picnic, and masks aren't required there. So I don't
tomorrow?
know. Tomorrow at the
Island Park. I think that starts at 5:30.
Masks
and then,
aren't required. They said use your best judgment. I'm going,
well, it's an outdoor event, Mel. So
that didn't make any difference. My understanding was anything in Winfield required a mask.
Well, I think it was, and I don't want to get into the details because we're not from Winfield, and I don't really give a shit too much. But show up at the Republican National Convention, the RNC meeting, and following that, the little picnic that they're going to have tomorrow at Island Park, they're going to go to Baden Square and have debates. And I think the two Cowley County commissioners, which will be Jim Cyber and Alan Groom, will head off at about 7 o'clock tomorrow at Baden Square. So 7 o'clock p.m.
That'll be interesting.
That'll be cool.
That'll be interesting.
I think both of them are good guys, but I would like to see some new blood in there, and I think Jim would be a great commissioner.
I think he's
proven himself.
Yeah, definitely has proven himself. That bridge deal, when they go from 3 to 4 million to 28,
less than $100,000.
28,000.
Yeah,
it was 2,800. It was already.
No, it was thousands.
They rip wrapped the base, and then threw some dirt in there.
But did a hell of a job, and so I don't want to dwell on that. But so big hot topic of the commission last night, Mel.
Yeah,
the splash pad. This came back up. I thought this thing was dead. I thought it was over, especially since COVID come out.
And it was, they act like they'd never visited before. It's like it was a whole new, it's a new day, it's a new world.
So Mel and I, we actually had an episode on this, episode 32. We called it Splish Splash Crash. And I encourage you guys to go watch it, but I'll recap it real quick. And so when Andrew Lawson, which was the city communication guy, he sent out this, I'm going to call it a private email because it didn't go out publicly. It went out to all his constituents, or
this was on the previous,
on the previous episode back, and this was 5 months ago,
which was the last meeting about the splash pad.
Yes, the last real meeting
Nick Hernandez was still city manager.
Correct. Yep. And sent out this private email to all his inner circle in Cahoot people and said, hey, I think we got the votes. We really need to move forward with this splash pad. We got all the money, lock, stock, and barrel, blah, 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 blah. Well, somebody forwarded me this email and it was like, is this all true? And I start researching it, and of course not. They had talked like they would get a commitment from Creekstone for $300,000. VJ Wilkins was $268,000, and grant money from a federal grant money for $300,000, and some other funds from other private donors back when they did this campaign to build Wilson Park, and they literally, Mel, said that it was done. And Mel and I showed up and asked these questions, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, there's still some more things to figure out, because what research we found out 5 months ago is they didn't have a real commitment. They hadn't got any money from the federal government. They hadn't got any money from Creekstone. They hadn't got all the money from VJ Wilkins.
Well, and our questions were so sophomoric. They were just basic. Well, and you do have a commitment to pay that? Well, not really. Yes. Well, you said you did. Well, we're going to.
So last night at the commission meeting, and this went on for a good 30 minutes probably, but it came right up again, and here's what was on the agenda. It was a motion or an item to pass both approving the federal grant for $300,000, approving the acceptance of it, and also spending another $5,500
for a redesign.
For a redesign of the which Mel and I learned last night, which I wasn't privy to this, and I thought I knew everything. Not really, but I thought I knew most of it. So when this all started,
you know more than they do.
But back when this started in 2017, and they did this big grandiose master plan, they spent $33,000 just for what it's going to look like a rendering of it, and then they went and pushed it and publicized it all through the public schools, saying, tell your parents to vote for a splash pad and rebuilding Wilson Park, all this grandiose BS. Well, then, news to me as of last night, they spent another $60,000 on designing this splash pad in this park, all the mechanics and plumbing and all that fun stuff. So $90,000, more than $90,000, and we haven't turned a tap, Mel. Haven't dug a shovel in the ground.
Well, it's not even a complete set of drawings. I mean, they've got changed, but evidently this thing goes from a kind of just a little splash pad, and all of a sudden it's all this cultural center and this rotunda deal and a new playground, and we go from a $300,000 project to $1 million project.
And that's just phase one, folks.
And that's just phase one.
And phase two and phase three are going to be these other things that develop this thing into a $5 million park, potentially.
Yeah.
And so we thank goodness for Commissioner Ginger last night, because this was one ticket item where they wanted to pass both through, and Dwayne Eastman, Dead Wayne, and Mel got into it big time. Dwayne made a motion to pass this, and Canyon immediately started saying, okay, well, do we have a commitment from Creekstone? Do we have a commitment from VJ Wilkins? And Andrew Lawson answered it the same way he did 5 months ago. He didn't know shit. He didn't.
And hey, I think this thing's available on YouTube.
It is.
You can watch it yourself.
Go back to episode 32.
The bizarreness. You're going to be sorely amazed or disappointed. You'll be amazed how accurate we are, and sorely disappointed how inaccurate they are.
We're not here to throw stones. We give kudos when kudos are deserved, and we call you on your record. But Mel, this has had to be embarrassing for Andrew Lawson and anybody that was involved in making this thing happen.
The whole dance routine from him was just blatantly idiotic. Nobody had a number, and he keeps turning to Kathy Cornwall.
And she's like, "This isn't my deal.
This isn't I don't know what your money's at or wherever. I don't know if it's secured or not. I don't know. This was your deal." And he keeps turning back around. Well, Kathy, is that right? Do we have that? And she's going, "How would I know? This is yours." I mean, it was a comedy of error, and it was a tragedy.
It really was.
Oh my God! It was just so embarrassing to watch this crap.
And so Mel got called out Dwayne on wanting to pass these. Actually, Canyon called him out on wanting to pass these two items together, saying, "Hey, we got to separate these." Which I want to talk about. I don't know who wrote the agenda, but you see this all the time in state government and federal government, where you put two items together on one line and try to pass something.
Yeah, so one desirable and one you're trying to slip in there.
And that's what they tried. That's what they tried last night. And so I suspect Randy Frazier, our new city manager, didn't write it that way. I think that came right out of Andrew Lawson's handbook.
I think he's kind of, maybe taken aback by some of these actions, thinking of the above board and parity, and there's not. And he's shown it at a commission meeting like this when the numbers aren't there.
and Andrew's completely unprepared. He put together this pork package where you want to accept this $300,000 grant, which I was all for, and I'm still for.
Well, but the grant, because it doesn't cost a nickel.
Doesn't cost a nickel to accept it. And if you don't spend the money, you don't receive the grant. So to me, it's just fine.
Get a commitment from the feds to give us some.
And so, but the other thing they were trying to slide through was that $5,500 re-engineering fee, which we've already spent $90 on designing it, and we ain't even broke ground.
And they don't want it by anybody. They don't come up with a conceptual idea of what we can do to do this. The commissioners are not briefed, or it doesn't appear that they're briefed, and especially after the work session we went to a long time ago on this very thing, how poorly briefed the commissioners are on anything. And they're left in the dark to make these sweeping decisions that are based on a lot of money. And the concept that $5,500 isn't much money is crapola. That's my money.
Yeah,
that's tax money.
Yeah, and Dwayne's like, it's just $5,500. It ain't nothing. It's no big deal. And I was almost to the point, and Mel did get short with him, basically on the Roberts Rules things. But I'm like, well, then whip out your damn checkbook, Dwayne, and write us a personal check for $5,500.
Yeah,
you know, because he just acts like it's just no big deal, and I'm like.
And the conceptual thought that because it's a donation, it's not tax money.
Yeah, so this is what the big argument was. Mel was like, this is taxpayer money. I want it to be accountable. And he was like, a donation from VJ Wilkins is not taxpayer money. And Mel's like, she was a taxpayer. That is taxpayer money. Which I understand Dwayne's point. It isn't like the federal grant, which is truly 100% taxpayer money, or the Creekstone donation, which is $300,000. But
more than taxpayer money.
But that money, that $300,000 from Creekstone, was in lieu of paying property taxes for 10 years.
And a fractional amount. So you're actually losing ground. So they're given $300, but they should be given $600. Or I don't know what the actual.
We don't know what the numbers were, but it's a substantial amount. And that's the part that's so, you know, and Dwayne just doesn't get it. He lives under.
Wilkerson, it's a grant, but she was a taxpayer. It's taxpayers' money. So they didn't earn that money. It was a grant from a taxpayer. It's taxpayers' money. I don't care how you dice it. I
understand what you're saying, but I understand your argument. But anyhow, so Dwayne effectively got tired of arguing about it, and so he goes, I call the question, which Dwayne thinks that means we're done talking about it. Anytime somebody says that, well, Dwayne doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. All's that mean, and this is a Roberts Rules thing, and Mel and I both
parliamentary procedure.
We went through this. I mean, it's the same thing when I was in high school and FFA. It's literally just saying, does anybody else have any questions regarding this subject? And that's what it's asking. And then, so Kenyon's like, hey, I'm not done talking about this. We got to talk about this. And so everybody finally got done. They called it to pass, and Dwayne had voted. He was the only one to vote for it.
Yeah, the other four voted against him.
And the other four voted against him, and that was just purely because of his attitude. And
Anderson was wrong. And he was wrong about his. And the sad thing is, how long has he been a commissioner?
Oh, he's been doing this a long time, Mel.
Long time, and still doesn't know parliamentary procedures on a simple word, a little dirt town in Kansas, and he can't figure this shit out. I mean, how embarrassing.
And I got to commend the other four commissioners, because I do believe, excluding Kenyon, and I still commend her, but they were probably lined up to vote along with Dwayne until they heard Kenyon's point of view, my point of view, your point of view. They really acknowledged what was going on and backed up, and I appreciate them for doing that. And they did the right thing. And so then they voted to accept the grant, which was the right thing to do, but they didn't spend the $5,500.
Well, the grant's no commitment from us, and we don't get money back until we spend it. So it's a chance to recap some money.
If we end up spending it.
If we end up spending it. If we don't spend it, okay, no problem.
And the other thing too, Mel, which is a great opportunity right now, if we don't accept this grant, because I've heard Andrew say this and Nick Hernandez, if you don't accept a grant, if you don't end up using it, that's gonna really piss them off later. Well, that's not necessarily true.
That's a bald-faced lie. Andrew Lawson not only doesn't understand that, he doesn't understand anything. And the thought that the federal government's going to shut you off because you didn't take a grant. I mean, give me a break. They might actually reward you for
saying, thank you for being responsible and not taking money you can't spend.
Jesus Christ, it's just so bizarre. I mean, everything that you see is just so kind of it's almost like fairy tale. It's almost it's like shrouded in in clouds of pixie dust. Oh, we have all the money. We need to go do this. And we've looked at this long enough. It's time to do it. I mean, what kind of asinine
reason or logic is that? And that was Dwayne's logic.
If anybody would run their personal business like that, because you wouldn't be in business, you get laughed out of anything. And the lack of transparency as a business owner with a private business, we're more transparent with our transactions than the city is, or at least these guys.
At least on this particular topic.
At least on this particular topic, and which just slides right into other topics. And it's just a continuum of idiocracy. And let's even be the stupidest.
Well, I'll tell you this, Mel. If I was Andrew Lawson and I showed up performing like that in front of my new city manager, I'd be embarrassed. And he should be. We literally recapped this 5 months ago, and this is Splish Splash Crash 2.0.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be that way.
And then his wife writes an op-ed in the paper about how incredibly disappointed she is
in people not wearing a mask.
People not wearing a mask. And she's saying her husband has a compromised immune system. Well, the world doesn't revolve around his compromised immune system. We're going to trudge on. We have to. And if you can't do it, if your immune system is compromised and you can't be it, then stay at home. Just step down, give it to somebody else, go draw your unemployment or something. But we have to go on. We have to move forward. We have to move forward with some confidence and some clarity and some direction. We can't do this helter-skelter crap.
I appreciated her writing the article. I get the sentiment of it, but the idea that she's comparing pro-life to wearing a mask. Oh, I'm a registered lifetime Republican, and if you're not wearing a mask, you're not pro-life. Well, that's bullshit. They have nothing to do with one another.
Well, then as the CDC and the WHO, they all back up on the mask wearing. They say, hey, we've overplayed our hand on this shit.
Yeah, and if you actually look at the statistical evidence, I'm sorry, Kaylee, I'm sorry, Andrew.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't going to get it.
Hey, if you want to watch Rachel Maddow and believe the crap she's telling you, this, you're going to fall victim to this stuff. Life's going to pass you by. You're going to be hiding in your basement with your damn mask on. And then they start coming up with the little kids wearing the mask with the lung infections. Did you read that?
No, I didn't. I'm tired of reading this shit.
I know it. And it's just, you're bombarded with it. You just can't get away from it.
I'm just glad Ark City is smarter than Winfield. Again.
And way smarter.
Way smarter. And you guys, I wouldn't be surprised, Mel, if our sales tax revenue goes up 15 or 20%, and Winfield's drops.
Especially as this stuff evolves, and all of a sudden realizes that you're not going to stop this thing. A mask ain't going to stop shit. It's not going to stop anything. And then you got people talking to you, and they take their mask off to talk to you.
Well, yeah, and you've seen the little masks they had at the meeting last night. They're so small. If you had a schnoz of any size or a Jay Leno chin, as soon as you started talking, this thing's migrating up or down, one or the other.
The bypass rate is more than the actual filtered rate, and they
especially if you have any facial hair like you. I mean, it really.
Yeah. Yeah, and am I putting my life at risk not wearing a mask?
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not.
But
it's 500 to 1 chance in Collin County, Kansas. 500 to 1 says you won't get this, and if you do get it, there's never been a death in Collin County. We got 32,000 people, and not one fatality.
We got the one guy, but it's debatable whether or not he actually died of
according
COVID.
to his doctors, it wasn't COVID. Wasn't COVID that killed him.
I don't know. It's so hard to say, Mel. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. These masks, can they help? Absolutely. Are they a requirement? Absolutely should not be. I mean, this mask thing is going to turn into like the seatbelt or the helmet law sooner or later. Oh, you're required to wear a seatbelt.
We just start accepting it.
Yeah, and that's where I draw the line. It's not about. I truly believe if one person is interacting with another person, one person has a mask on, yeah, that helps. If both people has a mask on, it helps even more. But I don't want to wear a mask for the rest of my flipping life. I don't want my family to. I want to be able to see my wife's beautiful face. I don't want to have to look at everybody through a damn mask.
Well, if it helps so much, how come all these 100% masked up area with lockdown, they're still inundated with
65% of the people in the state of Kansas that have died have been over 65 years of age and in a nursing home. I mean, it's just like, and
to lock these poor people in, it just goes on, and the insanity. And will we look back someday and say, well, that was a mistake? No, it's not going to happen, because what I'm seeing is most of these people would not admit that it's a mistake. They won't say, hey,
these type of people never admit fault.
We kind of got to back
just
up.
Just like Andrew Lawson at that meeting last night. He never admitted it's my fault. He blamed Kathy Cornwell. He blamed everybody else for not having the information he needed.
And he can blame us all he wants. He say, they torpedoed my event. You're damn right we did. Because if you can't present something better than that, it should be torpedoed.
That's right.
Dear God, you're making a salary. You're getting paid to this. And if you can't go to work.
And what I was telling Mel after the meeting last night, you guys might think we spend all week. I put 2 to 3 hours a week in doing city business. Okay, me researching stuff and doing these podcasts. And me and Mel know more than the flipping communication directors about the damn splash pad.
And we figure we don't know shit. Our assumption is everything we get, we glean out. We filter out, we glean out, we do a little digging, but not that much. It's all presented to these guys. I mean, they're given these entire packages, and they can pick up the phone and get all the information they want, and we're not exactly shunned, but we're
not privy to it.
We don't ask for anything special. We ask for just what's readily available.
Oh, no, we got to go. Great to see you. I'm done.
Yeah.
I've had enough of this shit.
I kind of have to. I mean, this is, and we're spending stupid money on splash pads and the road. Although I'll tell you what, the street department's kind of picked up the pace.
They have. I do appreciate the concrete work that's going on. There is nothing that excites any other taxpayer in the world more than road repairs.
Oh, getting seen a street get repaired.
God dang!
Or water line getting fixed or anything.
I'm serious. It's road repair. Because I don't give a shit how great of a car you drive. You drive down a shitty street, you know it.
And it makes the town look stupid. The same damn pothole every day. I know where to not turn and where not to turn. I know which bumps are there, because they're always there, and they just get worse and worse and worse.
Great job, concrete guys.
Concrete guys. Now, what's going to happen? No, what I am predicting is these guys step up their game, start repairing these streets. They're going to ask more money.
Fine by that.
And they should. They should absolutely have some kind of parity in wages. Because if they learn these skills, they start producing, the city can't do anything but say, you know what, by God, you're doing your jobs.
That ain't easy work, Mel.
Oh, it's not easy work. And the heat, see, it's supposed to be 105 next week. We got those guys out there pounding that
Chad
table.
Beeson and I, we don't always see eye to eye on topics, and we have a good relationship in terms of getting along. But I do appreciate him capitalizing on this forum that he's got going, depicting stuff that's going on in the city, because people need to see it. There is a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes that not the average taxpayer does.
I agree. I agree. See, the amount, and I'm glad they focus on water, sewer, and streets.
And they have been,
because those are the things that really need to be brought to the forefront. Because I'm looking at the pothole over here, and that's getting fixed. But I at least have the sense that they're getting there.
They're getting there. They're fixing something else.
There. And I like that. I like that immensely. And being a blue collar guy, knowing that not only at the end of the day am I hot and sweaty and tired, but when I look back and I see that I fixed that pothole, I fixed that water main break, that sense of accomplishment is something you can add. If you're just pushing paperwork and a pile of paper from here to there, it means nothing. But to actually drive by a place and see a mission accomplished is
that means something. Guys, appreciate you.
Because that's all we got.
Hook us up. We've done this episode. We need your help, guys. This is Splish Splash Crash 2.0.
Or if we're wrong, if we're missing something.
Tell us you want the splash pad. We don't care.
The mask. You say, hey, you're wrong. The CDC, who everybody's wrong, including you. And okay.
Tell us how we're wrong. We'll get to it.
Get out of your damn basement. And hey, wear a mask if you want to. That's cool.
Yeah, we don't care. We're not going to judge you.
Well, it's not going to help you. It's kind of like
wearing your seatbelt in town. All right, guys, we got to go. See you soon.
Balakaja.